Good morning, all my fellow crafters. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Colleen Light, and you might hear I've had a cold all week, so this is, I think, the second or third time I've postponed this video. But it's such a cute card. I really want to show you how I made it. Anyway, back to who I am. My name is Colleen Light. I come to you from Southwest Washington, a small town, Kalama, and my website is Cards by Coco. So that's an important one. That's where you'll find everything on Pinterest, Instagram, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, it's either under Colleen Light, Cards by Coco, or just Cards by Coco. So forgive my froggy sounding throat, if you would, please. I have had that head cold that is going around. And I'll tell you what, it was not any fun. So anyway, this is called the Twisted Ribbon Technique. Well, stop complaining about my cold and start doing the fun stuff, which is crafting. So hopefully I'm in screen. I can never really, I'm trying to just bring things up here a little bit. So this is a fun technique, and I watched so many videos to try and find the one that worked best for me. So I'm going to show you the way I did it, but if you have a hard time following my way, look on YouTube. So many videos. Anyway, so this is the one we're going to make today. This is using the Hello Harvest stamp set and the Rustic Harvest. I'm pulling some of the items from our Rustic Harvest suite. In particular, I'm going to be using this Great Embossing Editions toolkit. You don't need to order the suite. You can order that separate. And the Designer Series paper, which is beautiful. So let me show you just a few of the other samples that I made, and then we are going to get on with our technique here. Same card. I used a different part of the Designer Series paper there, and I decided I liked it better in the green against the black background. Then I want to show you, I did a few Christmas cards here. So this technique is very versatile. Let's see what else. Oh, he's the man. I always need mail cards. And I also made a sympathy card. Using just the stamp from the Use of Happiness stamp set to make a background. So anyway, you can see just using one, and this is the thing I always like to tell people, don't make, when you have all your supplies out, do not make just one card, make a bunch, because look, I made all these cards for different occasions with one technique. So let's go ahead and get started here. So I'm using our classic card base, and this is just 4 1/4 by 11. And I scored at 5 1/2, and we're gonna fold this in half, just like this. So here in Southwest Washington, it is rainy, which I'm so happy about, because I tell you what, it has just been a little too over the top dry for me. I'm definitely a Washingtonian, and I like my rain. So if you're watching either here or on YouTube, if you're catching the replay, just hashtag replay. Let me know where you're from. I'd love to hear where you're from and what you're doing. And also share what you're working on, what Christmas projects, holiday projects, or just projects in general. Okay, took a sip of coffee. Sorry about that. So what I found was easiest for me to get started. Here, let me clear off some of my mess here. I'm going to leave this one here as my sample. I find I have an easier time if I have my sample right next to me. So what I found was easiest for me is I took a piece of our grid paper. I use our grid paper for everything. This is actually the piece that would fit in the Stamparatus. And starting in this piece here, let me measure it. I'm sorry, I didn't write anything down. I know it's 2 inches across, and then it's 5 inches down. So what I did, you need 1/2 inch increments. So every 2 squares is a 1/2 inch. So I marked it on this side, and then of course we have the 1/2 inch mark right there. So starting at the 1 inch mark, and I just went ahead, and I know some people score their paper every 1/2 inch. I didn't. I went ahead and I just made little hashtags every 1/2 inch. And by marking my grid paper, it just made it quick and easy process for me. And I was able to make a bunch of these cards quickly because I had the grid paper out. So, and I'm doing this very light in case I need to erase anything. All right, and then what I did is I took our beautiful designer series paper and I cut it, 2 patterns that I liked, in 1/2 inch. So these are 1/2 inch wide, and I did 2.5 inches. Because when we put things on a diagonal, we just need a little bit of a larger area. So if you don't have a silicone mat, you can do it on regular paper. I prefer to use my silicone mat. This is actually this month's gift with purchase of $35 or more. I use this every time I'm in my craft room because glue and adhesives just do not stick to it. So this is a tool I use very regularly, and I wanted you, and I want to give this as my gift this month. So if you place an order of $35 or more, it does help if you use the host code. It helps me, but don't worry about it because I forgot to put it out. Anyway, you know, that's just sometimes how I roll. I always best laid plans, right? But you can find the host code on my website. So what I'm doing, you can use regular glue if you want. I'm using the seal. I found that I made a huge mess with the regular glue. And you're going to start in this upper corner here and come to the first hashtag. Sorry, I hope I'm not blurring. I mean, I hope I'm not getting too shadowy in there. It's hard for me to get this started without sticking my head in your way in the camera. So just like that. So you can see when I have my sample, that's how we're starting. And we're just gonna go down. We're literally gonna go every 1/2 inch to the next 1/2 inch mark. And we're just gonna go down the ladder here. Just like going down the steps. So it looks like this is complicated. Kind of when we do the top and bottom, it almost kind of plays a trick on your eyes. I like to use this kind of beautiful background piece as the background here. And I absolutely have to say, I do love this designer series paper. I've made a bunch of projects with it, and I really think it is so pretty. I think the stamp set is wonderful. I'm going to show you how a sentiment piece that I just absolutely love. One of the tags that come in the stamp set and in the dies. And let me see, am I still on camera? So I will answer any questions you might have towards the end of the video. Oh, good morning, Kathy. Anyway, so let's come now to this side. So what I'm going to switch to my pumpkin pattern paper. The only hint I have for you here with this one is make sure that your pumpkins are facing the right direction. You don't want an upside down pumpkin. So what I do, again, is I kind of always look to my sample to make sure I have this started in the right place. And I want to show you where I'm going to start it. I'm going to start it. So this is my Christmas wishes card. I'm not going to worry about this top piece. I'm starting it with this piece right here. I'm going to show you how we finish this off as we complete this part. But this is the piece you want to start with. So right here, we're going to want to go to this one, starting at the top here and crossing it down to the bottom of the next piece. So let me show you how it's going to come together. If your glue should scooch at the bottom, just roll it over. So again, making sure that your piece is facing the right direction if you are using a directional piece of paper. You know, you don't want your pumpkin upside down. And I hope you can see what I'm doing here pretty well. And then we're going to just, again, follow the steps down. Same thing. We're just going to keep building this and go down. And I like to see how, like, I want most of that pumpkin in, right? So kind of line it up how you like it. I always say the one wonderful thing about paper crafting is really, this project is yours and yours alone. And you should use all the paper and everything that you love, the colors you love, the designer series paper you love. The wonderful thing about paper crafting is you really get to bring out your own style and sense of artistry. And, you know, when we give our cards and our projects away, you know, we really do make them with love. So I think it's good to you know, use what you love. Use the colors you love. Some people absolutely love the Cajun craze, like me, and other people rarely use it. It's just not their style. So I think there's something for everybody. All right, let's finish this one off. And so what you want to do up here is I'm going to take this little hashtag here and bring it up. And let me see. So you can see right there, I want to cross it with the bottom of this and bring it up to this corner here. So let's go ahead and do that. So I was telling y'all at the beginning that I've had this horrible cold and my husband does not cook. So I have been living on pancakes and ice cream for the past week. I think a little bit of canned soup maybe. So I'm getting kind of hungry. I'm glad I feel well enough to cook now. So tell me in the comments if your significant others cook. So good lesson for me. I need to build up that stock of soup in my freezer or something as we go into winter. So same at the bottom, same thing. We're going to cross it there and bring it down to this corner here. Ta-da! So this looks like a hot mess, doesn't it? So the reason I love this matte look, even though I have glue all over the side, that adhesive, it does not stick to the silicone mat. Had I done this on my paper, it would be a sticky mess. All right, these have this gorgeous ribbon here. This means that these scissors are used just for adhesives. So you want to be careful not to cut your cardstock as you come down. And, oh, I may have to sneeze. Oh, maybe not. Okay. If I do have to turn away and sneeze, I apologize in advance. So let's do this. I'm going to pick those off and stick them right there. This silicone mat really does just keep, it's a lifesaver to keep your work surface clean. Okay. So, and then I'm going to bring my scissors and I'm just going to cut along this bottom, being careful not to go into your cardstock. You can always come back and trim off a little of the designer series paper, but we really want to keep the integrity of our cardstock because that's what's going to give us the right measurements there. Okay. You could use your paper trimmer for this if you are one of those people that have many paper trimmers and you have one set aside for adhesives. You sure could do that. I think using the paper trimmer, I would just make a hot mess with mine. So that's why I'm using my designated snips that I use on dimensionals and other type of things with adhesives. Okay, I'm going to step away for just a second, get another sip of coffee, and come back and we are going to put our card together. But you can see how this finished off here on the top and how nice that looks at the top and the bottom. Just perfect, 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 perfect. Okay, so I do have a piece of our Cajun Craze here, and this is cut 1/4 inch larger. So that would be 2 1/4 across, 5 1/4 that way. Let's go ahead and glue this down. Let me get out my scratch paper. So my scratch paper is always a mess. Let me clear off my work surface here. And again, this is one of those cards. You saw how many I make. That is really just such a nice way to use up those bits and pieces. Those bits and pieces of cardstock not cardstock, designer series paper that we all have laying about, and we're not really sure, you know, we don't want to throw it away because it's beautiful, right? Like we all hoard our paper. It's beautiful. All right, so I'm going to have to flip this around the other direction. At least all my pumpkins are facing the same way, but there we go. Let me press it on the back here. Make sure we have it nice and ta-da. Look at that. Oh, scooch it over just a hair. I ta-da'd too soon. Anyway. Anyway, there we go there. Now for the fun part. We're going to do a little heat embossing and a little cutting things out. And now for the fun part of our creating. I love, love, love to heat emboss, and I have been on a real roll with it this week. So I had a piece of Cajun Craze sitting out here. Let me bring out my stamp set, and here's my Cajun Craze. And I'm going to try and use this corner down here. Look at this pumpkin. We're going to also be using the Wishing You the Loveliest Day. Let's pull that one out too. Can't find my white, so let me grab another piece here. There we go. And let's do our stamping real quick. I'm going to use some Mossy Meadow here. I'm going to stay with the color theme. This is the color I used for our card base. Remember that Mossy Meadow. So let's stick with that. I like all my colors to be matchy-matchy. So in here's our Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to pop that down there. I don't need to use the mat underneath this. You'll always see me use my Stampin' Pierce mat, and I'm not using that this time because I'm using a red rubber stamp, which has its own cushion. So let's give this a little press. Ooh, isn't that so pretty? I just absolutely, this I think is one of my favorite stamps. I love the banners. I love everything about it. Move that off to the side. We're going to come and cut this out as soon as we're done with this piece. This is our pumpkin, and we're going to use some Versamark and get this going. So the one thing I wanted to show you with Versamark is that you don't, sometimes people overlook this, you don't need to buy a new pad all the time. Versamark actually comes with its own refill. So I refill mine all the time because I love to heat emboss. So there's a tip for the day. You don't need to order a new ink pad each and every time because you can refill your Versamark pads. All right, so we're going to get this all going. And I'm going to give this just a little press down here. And bring it straight up. We don't want a bunch of smooching going on. Okay, so let me grab my tray here that I have right behind me. This is that embossing tray that I was showing you. Oh, you know what? I did an Emboss Buddy. So normally what you would do before you Versamarked, I'm going to hope this works out well, is you would use your Embossing Buddy to cut down on the static. If you don't have one, a dryer sheet works. Really, we're just going to roll with this today and see how it turns out. If it doesn't work, we'll do another one. All right. Oh. Let me see. I think we're going to have to stamp another one. That's what you get. I forgot my own step. Can you believe that? I can believe it. It's been, let's see, will this pumpkin fit on this piece here? Let me see if it fit. Let's see here. If not, I'll have to get another scrap. Oh, I think we can squeeze it in. All right, so let's show you the right way now. Here's the Embossing Buddy. It cuts down on static, so your embossing powder will stick better. It won't make a big mess like mine just did. All right, let's move that out of the way. Y'all know I'm making at least 1 or 2 mistakes per video, right? So if you're in the Southwest Washington area on November 19th, stop at the Hawkinson High School. I'll be doing my first ever craft fair there, so I'm super excited about that. I'll be doing one here in Kalama, Washington on December 3rd, and that's at the community center. So hopefully you'll stop in and see me if you live in this area. All right. Ah, much better. See, again, if you don't have this kit, you can order it in my online store, or use a dryer sheet will be okay. I just stuck my thumb in that. I'm telling you, maybe we'll emboss this. I don't know. What do you think? We're gonna fix it. There we go. Good enough. We're gonna call that good. We're gonna call that good enough at least, huh? Do you ever feel that way sometimes? I tend to be somewhat of a perfectionist, but sometimes you just have to go with good enough, right? So turn down the volume for a minute if you want to see how this comes together, because I'm going to turn on the embossing, the heat embossing tool. So if you don't want to hear it, just turn down your volume. You can normally start to see as this heats up. Let me move my fingers out of the way here. You can see it start to melt and it gets shiny. So pretty. So this also comes with tweezers that you could use. I just don't need them for this because my fingers are far enough away. Ooh, so pretty, pretty, pretty. Pretty, pretty. There we go. All right, and there's that. You can turn the volume back up now. All right, I'm going to take this and cut this out. I'm going to show you how this does with the die. This is the mini die cutting machine. And let me see here. I have my dies right here. These dies, again, are fabulous. It comes in the suite or the bundle, whichever one you want. I'm going to take out both because I'll be using both here. So, and if you are a budget, let me just take this off, a budget shopper, and you don't have the mini or a die cutting machine, now is actually the perfect time to join Stampin' Up. I would love, love, love to have you a part of my team. I just think it's fun. I say that all the time. I just think this is so much fun. So I'd love to support you in your crafting journey. And on this special ends October 31st, the joining special. Let me see. I'm going to have to give this a little push. I don't think I have. Oh, there we go. So right now, it's $155 worth of product that you choose with free shipping for, sorry, I cannot talk, for $99. Ta-da! Anyway, for $99, which is, you just cannot beat that deal. I mean, the joining special is a good deal any day of the week because it's always free shipping and discounted. This is a particularly good one. So if you are interested in any of these products and you're looking for a good deal for the holidays, this is it. All right, let's take this. And I know we just stamped that other one. And I'm just going to keep the mini out. Sorry if it gives a little shake on the table. I apologize. Hopefully it's not making you a little dizzy. Normally I try and do die cutting off camera, but sadly, I didn't really prepare myself very well today. You always see I use these little paint strips here. I am not one of the demonstrators that can line things up and keep them lined up. I need a little washi tape or a little painter's tape. And it just doesn't have a lot of stick to it. And I actually have all of this on the back of a chair. I just lined it up on the back of a chair and I reuse the tape over and over again. All right, so we're almost actually done with this card. I'm going to show you how easy it comes together. And we have one more bit of stamping to do, and then we are done, done, done. So look at this. There are parts and pieces. So easy peasy. All right, let me get out our card base again and one more stamp, and we're gonna get that going. So this is it. You can see I stamped that leaf. I'll show you that stamp here in a second. And I just set that card base off to the side. Can you all see it anywhere in the screen? I always laugh. It's like, can you see what I'm not seeing? Oh, here it is. Perfect. Sometimes I'll look back at my videos and I just laugh and I'll be like, oh, Colleen, it was right there in front of you the whole time. So I want to use this leaf and I'm going to bring back our Versamark and use it like a watermark. I didn't really want any color on the back of my card here, but I did want a background stamp. It didn't look finished to me. So I thought, well, why not just do this watermark using the Versamark? So let me show you how I did that. I'm going to use the leaf stamp. And when you do this, you just want to make sure that you change directions with your stamp. You don't want all of your leaves and everything pointing the same direction. And this actually is a very quick process. You can press as hard or as light as you want. Sometimes you can stamp off. It really depends. Again, it really depends on what you like. Like I say, I think everyone is so creative. Card making is easy once you get the right tools. Stampin' Up's color coordination makes it so easy because all of your designer series paper on the back will list exactly the colors that coordinate with it. So it takes the guesswork out of determining what goes with what. I've said it before, I myself am not great with color. I'm a person that will be absolutely convinced it matches in the store, whether we're painting a bedroom or picking something out, and then get it home and realize it's not even close. So Stampin' Up! Does take the guesswork out of it for you, and I really like that part. All right, let's put our card together. This is the star of our show, so let's put that on. This is the whole reason we're here is, let's move this piece out, is because of this twisted ribbon technique. So let's go ahead and put this on. For the inside of the card, oops, I was looking at the screen, the computer, and went right off there. And now I forgot what I was saying. Well, I guess it wasn't that important. Isn't that what we used to always tell our kids when we couldn't remember what we were saying? I guess it's just not important. Make sure when you put this on here, your pumpkins or whatever designer series paper, if you're using one with Christmas trees, any type of direction, make sure they're all going upright in the right direction, because you want to sit like this and you want your design to be upright. All right, let's grab some dimensionals here. Oh, I know what I was going to say. For the inside of the card, just cut a panel 1/4 inch shorter than this, so it'd be 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I adhered, let me show you here. I adhered just a little bit there. So anyway, that's what I was going to say. So kind of jumped around for a minute. Let's go ahead, pop these dimensionals on. I'm going to use 4 because it is a banner and I don't want it to squish in the mail. So I'm going to give it a little bit extra dimensional there just because I want to make sure that, you know, it stays like I want it to in the mail. And then we're going to put our pumpkin down here, and then we're going to add a little bit of bling. And this card will be done. And then I'll show you all the samples again. So I hope you like the twisted ribbon technique. I will have my blog post written with the dimensions before the end, by this afternoon probably. And here are those. This also comes in the set. These are called, those are the Leaf Label and Amber Gem combo pack. This is what the leaf looks like. And I thought, you know, maybe a leaf here would even have been cute, and put some ribbon there. Would, I think, just be darling too. So I think I'm going to try a card with that also. Okay, so I'm going to take this little medium-sized one and pop that right there. And I'm going to take this one here and pop it right there. And then one of the larger gems and pop it right there. And because I wanted to do a triangle, and that card is done. So let me show you the other ones. This is what it looks like against the black base background. And I just finished it off like that. With our Christmas wishes, the season's greetings, another card right there. The He's the Man, and a sympathy card. So I've made all of these cards, same technique, and got a little bit of a different look from each and every one. Let's put today's card out here. Let me see if you have any comments or questions about anything. Feel free to ask me anything. Oh, good morning, Mary Ellen and Jeanne, Joan. Oh, and thank you for sharing. Why do I run through the cutter twice? Basically, I don't honestly know. I think it's just habit. I think it's just a habit I got into when I first started. You don't need to. Once should do it. Anyway, so this is what I have today. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm going to try and go live on YouTube on Monday. So I'm going to keep my Thursday schedule on Facebook, 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But I also want to just give YouTube a try. So on Monday at 9, I'm going to go live, I think. I'm not completely 100% committed yet. I'm a little nervous about it. But what I want to do is to try and up to 2 videos a week using the same product but a different design, because I tend to make so many samples and whatnot that I kind of want to maybe blog twice a week and do 2 different samples on a video. I don't know. What do you think? Oh, and thank you. Oh, good morning, Sharon. So anyway, so that is today's video. I really, really, truly appreciate you hanging in there with me and for joining me today. And I will see you next week. Have a great day. Bye.